Ladies and gentlemen, you wanted some wrestling coverage? We got it. We announced it a little short while ago. We're doing something a little different. Yes, we speak with wrestlers all over the world, whether it's in the UK or even here in New York with House of Glory, but we're actually doing something here. And speaking about the backyard wrestling, almost in a way where it all started. If you were a wrestling fan like I was or anybody else, you have some experience in it. But yet, these guys are actually trained. They're trained pros, and they've dominated the backyards of Wisconsin. They are the premier wrestling company in Wisconsin for all of your backyard and everything else. And we've got the best right now who's getting ready for a huge championship defense coming up here at Red, White, and Bruised. He is the longest reigning, defending Grand Slam Universal Wisconsinite champion. And we're getting his story right now here and much, much more on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station. So with further ado here on the Sports Report, number one global sports show, pro wrestling star here, and the reigning, defending, Universal Grand Slam Wisconsinite champion. He is the ruler of the yard. He is Kraven Rage. My friend, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Reverend?
I'm doing good. I'm speaking with the world champion right now, the reigning, defending, Universal Grand Slam Wisconsinite champion, Kraven Rage. And this is such an intriguing show that we have coming up here. Red, White, and Bruised Friday night. You're going to be a part of it. And then the next night, we have Spirit in the Sky. So you literally are working longer and harder than a Roman Reigns or anybody else that's going to be wrestling. We're going to see here coming up in the next few days. So I got to ask this before we get into the big match on Friday, but set the tables for us here. For those that are listening and watching this on Sportswire Radio, on Wrestling Class Entertainment, and what it exactly is.
Wrestling Championship Entertainment is a backyard wrestling fan. You know, they are great competitors in this industry, and they put in their blood, they put in their sweat, they put in their hard work, and they just go out there and have fun. And that's what they love, and they enjoy doing this. And that's what it's all about. And they are just trying to bring back backyard wrestling here in Wisconsin because it's been dead for so long that a lot of people have forgotten about it. So with Wrestling Championship Entertainment, what they do is put on great shows, great matches, and the guys just compete and they work hard to showcase their talents that people look over.
Well, you definitely are one of those reasons why. And of course, you were the longest reigning defending Universal Grand Slam Wisconsinite champion here. And I want to thank also on Twitter our very dear friend, Mr. Ernest Dove from Sportswire Radio, who just shared, and he loves the fact that we're speaking with you. So we're certainly glad that some of our supporters have definitely joined in. But I mean, you spoke about backyard wrestling, and I'll get to the championship match in a second. I'll get to all that. But I have some experience with backyard wrestling, and I know that my mother's not watching this, so she's en route somewhere. So I'm glad I can say this. As a kid growing up in Brooklyn, New York, we kind of did practice backyard wrestling, but we didn't know what we were doing. You guys, though, on the other hand, actually do know what you're doing, and you actually are bringing it back, because I remember as a kid 20 years ago trying to be a wrestler and doing the whole backyard thing. And like I said, we didn't know what we're doing, but you guys are doing it. But why do you think in Wisconsin or in other places that backyard wrestling was dead for so long? Why do you think that was the case? Was it the invention of the internet? Was it TV? Was it kids got lazy? I mean, what do you think and why it happened that way?
I think the reason why it died so much is because backyard wrestling was pretty much just like in the Hardy Boys. They got
Right.
together and just
The Young
did
Bucks. Yep, sure.
Young Bucks. You know, everybody used to do backyard wrestling growing up. You know,
I
it's
just mentioned it as a kid. I remember
and
for
it
2
did,
years, all we did. All we did. In fact, I even remember one summer, I actually have a notebook. I probably still have it somewhere. I would write out like the storylines of the matches I was going to be in. I was so into it.
and that's why like and they was just doing stuff on trampolines, whatever they had,
Oh, we had a
and
wrestler, Chris Urban, who for House of Glory, that's how he started on the trampoline.
a lot of people fail to realize that that's where wrestling really came from is in the backyards, and it died down because over the years people went got trained, people went and did the schooling, did the classes, and went on to be bigger, and literally this backyard just fell off and people just stopped doing it. Bodies get old, your body get old and stuff like that, you know and
And we have technical difficulty issues because that's what happens when we're live here on Sportswire Radio. So certainly that's why you're the reigning defending champion. It's almost kind of like a backyard interviewing here on Sportswire Radio.
right. And that's the thing with backyard wrestling. Like I said, people just fall off the sorry about that.
Well, now we
So,
lost you there, my friend. There we go.
it just falls off every time. And people just forget about it.
You might want to adjust
Forget
your
it.
volume here. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me do this one. Wait. Oops.
We got to get Wrestling Championship Entertainment to get you a sound editor or an audio guy, a technician, because you are the reigning defending champion. So we want to make sure you look good here and we can hear you on Sportswire Radio.
Okay. Here I go.
There you go. There you go. Now
Yeah.
you sound better.
So,
I realize you're getting requests from interviews left and right from
yeah,
all over
people,
the world. And
yeah, people's reaching out to me left and right because, like you said, I am the longest reigning champion in WC history. Everybody that has stepped in that yard has fallen to me.
and you
And
are the ruler of that yard also, I would may add.
oh yeah, and because it is my yard, you know, and everybody that steps in there will fall to me. Doesn't matter who they are, big, small, doesn't matter. Like I have faced them all so far. Nicholas Crimson fell to me, falling to me. Kodak Kid falling to me, not once but twice. You
Mm.
know, Adonis Videos. Yeah, he was a big guy, but he still fall to me. So whoever else want to try to knock me off the top of the mountain, it's not no one. No one will ever knock me off the top of my mountain because I am the greatest of all time.
I'll tell you what, certainly I wouldn't argue with you right now when it comes to that, and especially in Wrestling Championship Entertainment. And certainly if you like what you hear from Wrestling Championship Entertainment, I would highly encourage you to give them a follow at WCEHeat.com. And you can also follow them here on Facebook and YouTube. And that's, again, WCEHeat.com. And we are speaking with the reigning defending Universal Grand Slam Wisconsinite champion, Kraven Rage, just a few short days away from another championship defense. And after some of those opponents he just riled off, we're expecting him to get the job done here once again, coming up at Red, White, and Bruised here. But talk to me then about your opponent coming up here, Red, White, and Bruised. That is Dark Fire. Obviously, he's the number one contender right now to the championship. And we've seen the hype video here on YouTube. We've seen your words. We've seen his commentary. I mean, what do you make of this match coming and him being in the ring? And I got to feel after everything you just told us here on Sportswire Radio, champ, you got to be going into this feeling this is going to be no different than everybody else you conquered.
Well, Darkfire, yeah, he is the underdog going into this.
He better be. After
But
everybody you just rattled off, he better be the underdog.
but once he step into my yard, Darkfire, I'm telling you this now. I'm going to conquer you. I'm going to destroy you, and I'm going to smash you.
Mm.
So, like I told you before, you hope to be champion, you better hope to survive because I'm going to kick your ass all over my yard and smash you, and you will fall to me.
I'll tell you what. I mean, very, very strong words here from our reigning defending champion here, and certainly I would expect no different here. And I mean, let me ask you then this question: what does it mean to you to be the Wrestling Championship Entertainment Universal Grand Slam Wisconsinite champion? What does that mean to you?
What it means to me
Mm-hmm.
that I'm the top of this industry. I'm the GOAT around here. I'm the greatest of all time. Look at my records. Last year, I came in and I had people fear me. Yes, I did finally have Sean Jovi knock me down.
Mm.
But this year, I walked in to Crown and Achievement, called my shot, walked out as the Universal Grand Slam Wisconsinite champion. And I have been on a wrecking crew ever since then. I, they stand up, but they always fall down to me.
It reminds me of bowling where you'd have the 10 pin set up and you basically take that bowling ball and you just knock them down for a strike. That's what seems to be what you're doing here. You're not leaving any 7-10 splits in the middle of that bowling alley, just like in that wrestling ring. So
No, I'm
there's
hitting home runs. I'm hitting grand slams
Oh, that's
because
true. Well, you are the Grand Slam champion, so certainly
so
Aaron Judge would be definitely envious of you. Shohei Ohtani would definitely be envious of you. I mean, you want to name anybody else, they would have nothing on you. So there's no question that that championship is yours, and we expect it to be for a very, very long time here. And
these
if you
guys
do
just don't
good,
realize. These guys don't realize I'm on a whole different new level. That's their downfall. They think they can get into my head.
hmm.
They can't
Well, why do you think that they try to get into your head? Why do you think that that's the case?
because the way I present myself. You know, I don't come in cocky. I don't come in saying I'm hoping to go do this or I hope to accomplish this.
Yeah,
I
hope. You
come
should never go into anything with hope. There's somebody I
I
know
come
here
in
in New York.
and
All he does is, I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm hoping. No, there's no hope. It's either you know it or you don't. You seem like you know it, champ.
no, I come in and I just tell them what is going to happen. It's not a spoiler, it's the actual fact that they're going to fall to me. And I don't care how they fall to me. Either I make them submit like I made Adonis Filios tap out, or I just put them down out their misery like they deserve. That's just point blank.
It almost seems like, champ, that Wrestling Championship Entertainment needs to get some more opponents for you. It almost seems like, or maybe better opponents, because I mean, some of these names you mentioned. I mean, it seems like they're not even in your stratosphere, in your league almost.
Well, I can't say that all of them. Trust me. I had my battles. Kodak Kid, he took me to the shrine. He pushed me all the way. So I had to fight, but I came on top regardless.
Hey, you got
You
that belt. You're here with us right now. You got the
you
title,
know,
right?
yeah, that's the only thing that counts.
That's absolutely right.
So
Absolutely.
he pushed me. You know, Adonis Videos, he was big, he was strong, but at the end of the day, when the smoke cleared, I walked in as champ and I walked out as champion. You know,
Hmm.
yeah, Darkfire, I give him his props. He won the number one contender spot, but he better be prepared. It's not gonna be easy. You know, this is going to be a battle where he deserves.
I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, Dark Fire and Kraven Rage is going to be the match of the summer. Forget about the heat wave that we had here in the UK or in New York, or forget about all this talk about Roman and Brock or anybody else. Dark Fire and Kraven Rage is going to be the rage of the summer and the rage of the weekend. And we're getting the scoop on it here on Sportswire Radio. And that's why, again, you need to go to WCEHeat.com for more information, because you think about what this card's going to be like. And in fact, it's a 2-day event. I mean, it is almost like WrestleMania, right? Because WrestleMania is always a 2-day event now. I mean, although I remember the days when WrestleMania would end in less than 3 hours, but nevertheless, a 2-day event here at Wrestling Championship Entertainment, just like we have here in WrestleMania. So I have to ask you then, Champ, I mean, are you pulling double duty Friday and Saturday? I mean, because obviously this is a 2-day event. This is a big deal that we're doing here at Wrestling Championship Entertainment. I mean, talk to me about that.
Oh yeah, I am pulling a double duty. Yeah, I got Dark Fire, Red White and Bruised. You know what I'm saying? And then a Spirit in the Sky. Honestly, I'm gonna do an open challenge.
Whoa. Say that again here, Champ.
And Spirit in the Sky, I'm doing an open challenge to any WCE superstar in that back of that locker room. If you have what it takes,
ladies and gentlemen,
step into my yard.
We had a bombshell here on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station to get your fix of wrestling coverage. Our reigning, defending, Universal Grand Slam Wisconsinite champion, Kraven Rage, has said after he gets through Dark Fire Saturday night, Spirit in the Sky, he's doing an open challenge. Now, that could be anybody that could answer that challenge. For all we know, Bray Wyatt could answer that challenge. For all we know, Johnny Gargano could answer that challenge. Friends of Sportswire Radio in other countries could answer that show. I mean, this is anybody. I mean, Champ, I mean, this is anybody this is open to?
Anybody. You know, anybody. It can be anybody in that back of that locker room that think they have the balls to step into my yard to challenge me for this top prize.
Show that title here. Show that title for everybody here watching. Look at that belt. Look at this belt.
Top prize. If they have the balls to step into my yard to try to knock me off the top of the mountain, I'm doing an open challenge at Spirit in the Sky for anybody.
Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have seen here a bombshell unlike no other here on Sportswire Radio. This is why you need to follow Wrestling Championship Entertainment here, whether it's Nicholas Cranston, Tyler Ark, or Sean Jovi, anybody here in this company. Let me tell you something. There is a lot to look forward to here. There is so much. You just need to go to WCEHeat.com. You can also on YouTube, Facebook, like Wrestling Championship Entertainment, because something tells me here, Kraven Rage and not only the rest of the locker room are going to be working unlike no other company. That is why we are honored to be speaking with our reigning defending champion, of course, supporting our friends over at Wrestling Championship Entertainment. And I am the host of the Sports Report and the station manager here of Sportswire Radio, the Reverend Tom Bryce. So I have to ask you then this question, Champ, and this is a slightly off the topic, but it sort of relates back to Wrestling Championship Entertainment. I mean, how is this wrestling different than, let's say, other places you've wrestled and conquered in?
Well, this one is different just because, like I said, all these guys go out here and they have fun doing this. And they safe. And the owner of WCE manage it very well. You know, to keep us, they keep us safe. The
Hmm.
management keep us safe and make sure that we are putting on great performances. And that's their whole policy is about being safe because they don't want nobody to get injured, serious injuries. You know, by the grace of God, none of us have got serious injuries. So we don't go all out like some of these companies that you see in the backyard using all type of weapons
Yeah, I never got that. I never got in backyard wrestling why everybody would want to prove and say, hey, let me go find barbed wire. Hey, let me go find a kendo stick or a 2x4 or whatever else it would be. I mean, I never got that. What would be the need? I mean, you realize you could not only injure yourself, but the other person, and you've seen it all the time years ago. I mean, you'd see people, unfortunately, either get seriously hurt or in some cases even die from backyard wrestling. So I mean, I would have to imagine it. And I know for a fact, because I obviously did my homework here and watched you guys, and it's a different backyard wrestling than we saw 15, 20 years ago. And that's a good thing.
yeah, because like I said, we do things safely and
Right.
and we plan out everything safely where if we go have any type of weapons or anything like that, we don't go to the extreme, like lighting the table on fire and throwing people like that. We don't go on that extreme. We go out there and yeah, we just put on a show, Ring of Destruction. And yes, it was a good show because why? Because there was a lot of destruction. You know, we had people going through tables, we had people going through whatever, and at the end of the day, you had two champions standing in the ring together, the interstate champion, James Marshall,
Hmm.
congratulations, you know, and you had Kraven Rage with JDT. And we were standing tall on Nicholas Crimson, Sean Jovi, Kodak Kid, and Jonathan Pierce, which
Hmm.
we, which James Marshall made him retire.
Wow, the interstate open weight champion James Marshall here certainly making sure that he is a force to be reckoned with. So I guess it's safe to say then that you and him are pretty much 1A and 1B in this company.
Yes, we are the dominant force of this company. We are the best in this company, and there is no one that can knock us off our pedestal. Especially me, definitely me, because I'm the greatest.
Oh, obviously, listen, I ain't arguing with you. You're a world
You know,
champion. I mean, I'm
I-
not
I'm
arguing.
I'm the longest champion,
And the greatest.
NWC, and the greatest. Just because I climbed that mountain, I sold my soul to keep this, and
Wait,
I
wait, wait,
will
wait.
keep
You sold your soul. How did you sell your soul?
because I walked into crowning achievement
Hmm.
and I walked out with this. Because there's one person that has ever stopped Craven. That was Sean Jovi. And Sean Jovi, if you listening to this, I am coming for you.
Hmm.
I'm making this prediction right now. I'm going to keep this title September 10th, our anniversary. You and me, 3 doors down match.
Wow.
The
September the
winner
10th.
gets this. I'm putting this on the line. I'm putting my career on the line. And I guarantee you, I'm going to smash you. Just like I have smashed you before. Last year, when I took your RCW title, I'm going to smash you again just to crush your dreams.
Let me get this straight. You're so confident, champ, that and let me make sure I don't have to get my ears checked in the fact that you're actually putting your career on the line come September 10th against Sean Jovi. Is that correct?
you're not necessarily saying my career, but this is my career. This baby. This
Okay,
is
that makes
this
sense
is
because I did
this
hear
is my
career.
career.
That's why I had to
This
ask
is
that
my
question,
career.
Cam. Okay.
My career is defending this each and every month, and people still don't respect me. Why they don't respect me? Because I don't care. I do what I do because I am the best. There's no other diamond than me. I'm the greatest. I'm the GOAT of this industry. And people still don't respect the fact that the ruler of the yard is dominant, is conquering, and is smashing everybody in his path like I have promised from the get go. Yeah, they boo me. I don't care if they boo me.
Mm. Mm. They
They don't
certainly.
gotta. They don't have to like me. They don't have to love me. But at the end of the day, they all fall to me to respect me.
Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen. Three Doors Down famously sang, "I'm a loser," but something tells me here that Craven Rage ain't going to be losing anything come September the 10th because that is the anniversary show for Wrestling Championship Entertainment. You can find out more information on that show and much, much more shows from the company over on their YouTube page at WCE Wrestling Championship Entertainment, also on Facebook and WCEHeat.com. As we are speaking with the world champion Craven Rage, getting ready for a huge match against Dark Fire coming up here this Friday. Then he'll have an open challenge on Saturday. Then we also have another show coming up here in August. So it is very much a busy time here for Wrestling Championship Entertainment. And we are getting that story here. And I am the host of the Sports Report and the station manager here of Sportzwire Radio, the Reverend Tom Bryson Champ. I got all that stuff. I got everything about you conquering WC and knocking everybody down. You're the greatest. But I got to ask the question that I always like to ask people here on Sportswire Radio that are professional wrestlers. How'd you get into wrestling?
Well, I grew up watching wrestling. That's the thing. Like I grew up watching Hulk Hogan era,
Sure.
grew up watching Junkyard Dog, grew up watching Ric Flair, grew up watching Sting, grew up watching, you know, everybody from The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. I grew up and watching them. And what made me really got into it is because honestly, my grandfather, may he rest in peace, but got me into it. And
Hmm.
ever since then, I always wanted to wrestle, you know, and and I wanted to be like those guys that I seen on TV growing up, analyzing and you know admiring, and just wanted to do that because it was not about them wrestling; they was actually entertaining people, and that's what
Hmm.
I love doing is entertaining, and that's what I love about wrestling championship entertainment. They living up to their name because they entertaining the fans. And yeah, we don't do it in front of a live crowd, or yeah, we probably have like 6 to 8 people sometimes come watch us.
Well, you should
But,
have told us 6 to 8,000. Listen, you're live with us. You should have told us 6 to 8,000.
but once we send our stuff out on YouTube and Facebook and all the platforms, we getting the numbers. Vindication got over 600 views, and Ring of Destruction is catching Vindication numbers. So we are being heard. We are getting requests. We are getting people saying, "Hey, where y'all located at? Hey, we like y'all stuff. Hey, y'all doing a good job. Keep rolling. Keep rocking it." Because we're making it relevant and we're making it where people's not forgetting about backyard wrestling. And that was the whole point of me signing up with WCE, because I wanted to make this relevant. And I have did that. I have accomplished that. And these guys that I face, they are doing it too, because they put in the work. They put in the effort. They got the passion. They got the love. They got the desire. They watch it all the time. They watch AEW. They watch WWE, Raw and SmackDown. You know, and yeah, those shows are doing it. Vince McMahon is doing this thing. You know, Khan is doing this thing. I love those shows. I watch them. And the reason why I watch them is not for the entertainment. I watch them because I study them. I study their moves. I study how they perform, they act, how they carry themselves as a character, or whatever they want to call themselves. They could be Dork the Clown, and I will still watch him just because he's funny. You know, it doesn't matter what you do inside that ring. The only thing that matters as long as you getting the people's attention. That's the only thing that matters because it could be a 2-year little girl watching that their favorite wrestler get his butt kicked, and all of a sudden he comes back, and now she's in tears because he has overcame the odds. And speaking overcoming the odds, Darkfire, you might as well go to SummerSlam and go down to Nashville or go to Vegas because your odds is 0, 0, 0. Because my odds is off the chain. I'm
Oh,
walking
your
out
odds are
there,
100% and more than 100%. And in
you know.
fact, Darkfire might want to just go and you know what? Don't even go to SummerSlam. Just go Sunday. Go watch Ric Flair wrestle. Go watch him, and maybe it's his final match. I don't even know anymore. I mean, that's what you're better off in because you're gonna be in too much pain the next day after what Kraven Rage very well could do to you. So you might as well just take the rest of the night off, take the day off, get ready in here, and maybe make that trip for Sunday because for you, my friend, that what Kraven Rage just said, I would definitely be very much worried about that. But I will say, going back here, and we got about 20 or so minutes here with Kraven Rage. We realize he's a very, very busy man, and he's got also a lot in his mind because he's working not once but twice coming up here, and that is Wrestling Championship Entertainment's Red, White, and Bruised, and also Spirit in the Sky, and he'll have a lot of fire to bring here and some. But I mean, to me, backyard wrestling again, and I see what this company is doing, and I see the professionalism. You know, I see shows with Crowning Achievement, 229 views. I see Ring of Destruction, 547 views. I mean, I see Fight or Fright, over 100 plus views. So there's no question that you guys are developing a following. And in fact, I would argue that the following is on par with some independent wrestling companies. So I think that's got to make you feel good. You know what? There was always a stigma with backyard wrestling. But you know what? With you guys, I don't think that stigma really impacts you because clearly people, like you said, like what you're doing. People see that the work is paying off. People like the talent you have. And I think that going forward here for the company, I think it's got to be a good thing because you're the guy at the top right now. So, I mean, some of those things you talked about, I think it's going to exceed even what you just said.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Okay, and then certainly here
yeah,
our
yeah.
audio is a little bit behind here with the champ, so we certainly appreciate the champ's time. So we'll obviously make sure that we keep it as brief as we can here because we realize that the champ is having some technology issues here. Maybe Darkfire is trying to play with his audio. Who knows? Maybe other opponents in the ring, Sean Jovi. Who knows who else? You know, there's Nicholas Crenson. I mean, who knows? But I mean, obviously, I mean, let me ask you then: what are your goals here in professional wrestling, especially now that you've said everything? I know September 10th was talked about, but talk to me about your goals.
Oh, my goals, honestly, is to keep this, keep this. That's my goals. My goals is to keep this the longest I can. Keep keep this as long as I can, and I'm keeping this for a long, long,
I tell you
long
what,
time.
I wouldn't disagree with you. I mean, I really wouldn't. Disagree with you on that. I mean, I think that that's pretty simple here. That's what the goals are. What do you want to say to anybody that, let's say, is hearing for the first time Wrestling Championship Entertainment and they're listening to you speak and say, you know what? there's a curiosity factor here. Maybe I should go check it out. Maybe I should check out the stuff on YouTube or Facebook or WCEHeat.com. What would you say to somebody for the first time that is hearing about Wrestling Championship Entertainment through here on Sportswire Radio? What would you tell them?
I tell them, hey, check us out. Subscribe, follow us. We are doing the things that a lot of backyards is not doing. We making it relevant, and we are doing everything right. We keeping things safe, and we having fun. That's the
Hey,
only thing
listen,
that
that's what
matters.
it's all about. That's what it's all about. I mean, if you ain't having fun, I mean, what's the point in life? I mean, there's so much troubles. You read the news or you stop in the street, you see everything going on, and that's what you want it to be about. It's always got to be about fun. And I think that Wrestling Championship Entertainment does a great job with doing that. So I must have to ask you a dumb question when it comes to Wrestling Championship Entertainment, and help me out when it comes to this. So when the weather gets colder, let's say, because in Wisconsin it gets really cold in December, January, February, March, and I guess even into April. I mean, New York has kind of got similar weather, but you guys are colder. So what do you guys do? Do you have a dome? Do you have a place to?
No,
What do you do?
what we do, we shut down. During the winter times. That way, all the all our wrestlers can heal up and work out and stuff like that. And because we have lives outside of wrestling as well, majority of us have other jobs, families, kids, you know, which is always come first. Family, kids, and real work comes before wrestling.
Well,
This is
you're the
all.
first wrestler that actually said almost like that third wall there, because usually most wrestlers we have on Sportswire Radio, we try to come across as if like it is the big leagues, it is professional. But I can respect that. So I mean, you guys go till let's say October, November. When is it to the point? Because again, I think about when I was a kid in Brooklyn, backyard wrestling was pretty much you couldn't do it when the weather in New York it was about November. Like the first week of November was like, okay, it's cold. I can't do this anymore. For you guys, when is that moment? Like, okay, well, I can't wrestle outside in the backyard anymore. When is that moment for you guys?
It's usually in October. That's like the end of the season. So we
Okay.
have fright or fight. You know, sometimes it be 2 days. This year's gonna be a 1 day show, but that's our usually annual season where it's coming to the end. We shutting down. You know, putting all the stuff away. You know, letting our bodies heal, and then get ready for the next season to come with different ideas, different matches, and different ways to keep entertaining people to get people following us and stuff. You know.
All right. Well, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think it's very
So
interesting.
that's what we do.
I think it's very
Is
interesting, champ. I think the fact that I give you guys credit
we do.
that you do have an off season. Listen, no wrestling
Yeah,
is
we
not
have.
known for the off season.
Yeah, we have an off season. So we're not trying to be in the big leagues like WWE or
So you're not
AEW.
looking to wrestle in other companies, is that correct?
No, we truly not. A lot of us just love wrestling in the yard just for the have fun of it. You know, because honestly, a lot of people don't realize this. When you're doing the backyard wrestling and then you try to do like indie and in front of a crowd of people where it's not controlled, it's very hard and difficult to do. Like I have walked down that path before and did it and try to do the local professional companies, and it was hard because they picky, they not nice, and they really don't like backyard wrestlers. They think it's a
It's a
joke.
stigma to it. There's a stigma to it. I mean,
So
we do a lot of coverage in England, and there was a company that we do a lot of work with, but we decided to stick and support them. And there was something that happened, and it kind of got blown out of proportion, and a lot of people, Twitter, there's a cancel culture movement, and the company got some unfair criticism, I felt, in my mind, and we kind of nipped that in the bud, and we brought the owner on here. And yeah, there is, backyard wrestling. There was a stigma even, when I was a kid doing it in Brooklyn. People were like, "What are you doing? You're wrestling outside." It was like, so I understand that. There is actually a point to what you said, that, when you wrestle in an independent show, and you're between, let's say, anywhere between, on a good show, 200 to 250 people, to a low end 40 to 50 people. So let's basically split the baby in half, and it's about 120 people. So if you're going to be going from that to where you're wrestling in a backyard, where it's basically a controlled environment with friends, editing, magic, and whatever else, and it's you're controlling everything. Yeah, there's going to be a big difference, and there's going to be, certainly, look, the promoter's going to look at it and say, well, they're going to, have their own minds made up. But you know what? To the independent promoter also, well, you know what? You ain't selling 10,000 tickets either. So at the end of the day, I kind of see where you guys are coming from, and I appreciate the fact that you are living out your dreams, and I appreciate the fact that you are doing this, because when I first heard of Wrestling Championship Entertainment, I was like, wow, okay, this is cool. But then my first thought was, okay, backyard wrestling, and I have experience in that. But then watching you guys, no, you guys are like professionals. You guys are actually, it almost reminds me of. And before we move on to closing, because I know you're a busy man, you've got some technical difficulties here going on. It reminds me of, there's guys I know, every summer they go out and play in a wiffle ball tournament. They do it to raise money for charity, and they actually spend weeks practicing for this tournament. They're not baseball players, but they have experience, but they're actually playing in a tournament. And I think it's very similar here to you guys in backyard wrestling. All of you guys are trained as wrestlers. You guys have all done it before, but you're doing it in a different way. So I kind of think, in a lot of ways, this is almost like your field of dreams. I think that's the best way I could think of Wrestling Championship Entertainment for somebody that's watching or listening to this for the first time. I think, in my opinion, champ, that Wrestling Championship Entertainment is kind of like Field of Dreams.
It is, because a lot of these guys, like I said, a lot of these guys, they truly love wrestling,
I love wrestling. I could see it from
and
you guys. I always
these
loved
guys,
wrestling for that.
these guys truly, yeah. Do they like performing in front of people? Some of us do, but some of us just love to go out here, have fun. We entertaining people. Don't matter if it's in front of a crowd, or because it get filmed, it get put on YouTube. So we still performing in front of people, even though they're not there. They still watching it, and long as we are entertaining them, and they review it, they like it, they following us. That's the only thing that matters. And as long as we having fun doing it, you know, you got these local professional companies. I'm not knocking them for what they're doing. They're doing their thing. Yeah, but they're going out here selling tickets and selling merch, selling this, selling that. People buying it, but and they entertaining people as well too, because you know I feel like what we doing. I feel like, okay, if they could do it, we could do it too. But we can have fun doing it, and it's truly no pressure. And these guys are comfortable doing it in the backyard, where, like you said, it's control, it's ran good, and they having fun. They could do the stuff they want to do, where not being told, "Oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, you got to do
Which
that."
happens a lot, because you have experience in it, and I have experience in covering professional wrestling in all around the world. I've covered it a lot in England. We're very, very massive there. And I've covered it, obviously, here a little bit in the United States. And, there are certain promoters that, they're going to have their opinion on things. They're going to have their opinion on the way things should go. And, there's certainly money that's involved, and there's a lot that goes on, a lot of politics that gets involved in professional wrestling. See, people think on TV or even at the independent level, oh, it's great, I see everybody, and it just happens a certain way. No, trust me, I know it, because first of all, I've been in the political world. I know what goes on. And in the wrestling world, it's very similar to that. There's a lot of backstage politicking. There's a lot of people that fight over certain things. You have promoters, you have owners, you have other things that get outside. in the control, and it unfortunately impacts the product. It impacts the company's following. And I think what really is important and why people need to follow Wrestling Championship Entertainment is the fact that you guys do it because you guys all love wrestling. You guys are all fans. You guys are all professionals. But you know what? You're also team players. You're doing basically what's best for everybody, and you're giving everybody a fair chance. And there's a lot less of that politicking, a lot less of that drama, all that stuff that you read about or hear about. Like I said, I work with many, many wrestling companies. Okay, I know what goes on. I'm not saying I'm a professional wrestler, but I can tell you I have been in the political world, and I have worked for politicians, and I have worked for people that have run. So I know what goes on. I know the drama and the backstage stuff. And what I think is most important on why people need to go to WCEheat.com, where you can see show information. You can see highlights, the roster, our champion here, Kraven Rage, is that you guys are just about having a good time, putting smiles on whoever watches this and anybody else who's following. And that's, to me, what it's about when it comes to Wrestling Championship Entertainment. So, Champ, I know that you're a busy man, and I appreciate you giving us the opportunity. And I want to ask you then this last question, and give me your final words. It could be to Darkfire, it could be to anybody that answers the open challenge or anybody else on the roster. Give me your final words here before Red, White, and Bruised and Spirit in the Sky.
Well, my final words is like this. I want to thank everybody that has supported WCE. Thank all the followers that keep following us. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. You know, keep cheering for your favorite superstars. Keep booing for your least favorite superstars, which is me. But however the case may be, thank y'all from the bottom of our hearts for being there, supporting us, and following us. We have a great thing going on here. We have an awesome, amazing GM owner that keep us safe, keep us control, and the owner is doing a wonderful job. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts and my heart, myself, for giving me opportunity, for giving me to live out my dream. Thank you so much. If you're listening to this, owner of Wrestling Championship Entertainment, thank you so much. We love you. And I definitely love you for this opportunity. You're amazing. You know, and my final words to everybody out there, fall to the GOAT, the best in this industry, the top champion, the longest reigning, defending WCE Universal Grand Slam champion, Kraven Rage. Fall to me.
I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen. First, it started off almost like the Chris Brown latest single, Warm Embrace, but then it ended in a rage against the machine and a rage against anybody, especially Darkfire and those who may answer that open challenge. That Kraven Rage is going to continue to be the reigning, defending WCE Universal Grand Slam Wisconsinite champion. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't argue with him. He right now very well be at the peak of his career. He very well is right now at the top of this industry. He is the man right now. He is at the top of the mountain. And I don't see anybody taking his place, not only in the near and distant future, for a very, very long time. He very well could be, as some have stated, the only person to ever hold that WCE Universal Grand Slam Wisconsinite Championship. He's been champion for about 3 months, but I expect it to be for as long as he wants it. And that's why you also need to follow Wrestling Championship Entertainment, again, on Facebook, on YouTube, and most importantly, WCEheat.com, which will have links to show matches, highlights, the roster, who's wrestling, news, latest updates. So if you like Wrestling Championship Entertainment, like I do, or anybody else, that's where you need to go, and you can see Kraven Rage. We expect the show to be uploaded to YouTube at some point in the next week. I know, obviously, these shows are edited. They have to get out there and stuff, so it may not be right away on Friday and Saturday, but I promise that if you are watching this on Sportswire Radio, you will definitely get it the next week, and I also promise that if the champ is successful, which we know he's going to be, we're going to bring him right back on because we'll watch the show, we'll review it, we'll get highlights, we'll get reactions from everybody in the locker room, and we'll bring the champ on. If he wants to, we will bring him right back on after he's successful Friday and Saturday. So whenever those shows are uploaded on YouTube, we'll get to watch them, and we'll bring you right back on, champ. That's our promise here on Sportswire Radio because that's what we do because we're the number one global radio station, and we have many people out there that support us. So we bring to the people what they want, champ. So if you agree, we'll bring you back after you win.
I agree.
All right, well, you heard it here first. So, ladies and gentlemen, we get the inside scoop literally just a few short hours away from a very, very busy weekend from the ruler of the yard, the reigning defending, like I said, Universal Grand Slam Wisconsinite champion. His name is Kraven Rage. Hold up that championship one more time before we go. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's the most prized possession in all of wrestling. It's the most prized possession in all of sports. Listen, forget about the Super Bowl. Forget about the NBA championship, the World Series, the Stanley Cup. Forget about the U.S. Opens coming up in tennis. All those championships. Look at what Kraven Rage has right now here. That's the championship that everybody in this industry, in this business, they want. Listen, Triple H's birthday is today. He wishes he could have that championship. Ric Flair, they call him 16-time world champion. His daughter's, a 14-time champion? They couldn't even hold this championship. John Cena's a 16-time champion. He couldn't even hold this championship. Hulk Hogan, who Kraven Rage talked about, he couldn't even hold this championship because Kraven Rage right now is the top in this industry. He's the man right now. He's at the king of the mountain, to quote Jeff Jarrett, and that's why we had him here. My friend, I can't thank you enough. I'm looking forward to having you on here after you successfully defend the championship here coming up this weekend. And thank you for this opportunity to speak with you and, of course, the story of Wrestling Championship Entertainment.
And James Marshall, I know you got that interstate. You're a great champion. Nobody's gonna stop us, boy. Nobody's gonna stop us, partner. Nobody.
Ain't no stopping us now. There ain't no stopping our Wrestling Championship Entertainment champions, Kraven Rage and James Marshall. As we're here on the Sports Report. Number one, Global Sports Show with pro wrestling star here, the ruler of the yard, the reigning, defending Wrestling Championship Entertainment Universal Grand Slam Wisconsinite champion, Kraven Rage. As I am the host of the Sports Report, the station manager of Sportswire Radio, the Reverend Tom Bryson. We'll be back here with more non-stop action wrestling coverage. That's right, because we're going to have on Disciple. He's coming on here tomorrow night, which will be afternoon New York and Wisconsin time. And then we'll have right on at some point, either before or after, the number one contender to the Coloring Championship Wrestling Underground World Championship. That is Jack Bartley. We're going to get Jack's final words literally just 24 short hours away from him stepping in the ring against Chris Onyx. We'll see if top tier is going to continue to stay top tier. We're going to see if Chris Onyx can keep his championship. Jack Bartley is nipping at his heels here, so we'll certainly look forward to seeing that. Plus, from Disciple, a lot to say he's got, I know, because we are still waiting to see GT Ministries and all that stuff, and Kraven Rage will definitely be back with us here. So thank you, everybody here, for listening and watching on Sportswire Radio. If you're on sportarium.com/player, you will go back to your regularly scheduled program in about 25 minutes. Well, I'm going to format it, so you'll get some music, I'm sure, in between. But thank you, everybody. I am the host of the Sports Report, the station manager of Sportswire Radio, and also thank you to our very good friends over Wrestling Championship Entertainment for giving us this opportunity to speak with Kraven Rage, our reigning defending Universal Grand Slam Wisconsinite champion.